You know, the older and older I get, the more and more I want to date within my own race. And it's for one simple reason. They just get it. You know, my ex was a white girl and she was a really good person. You know, she was super empathetic and she really did put in the effort to understand my plight as a Korean American. But it didn't matter how clear. I have no problem dating any race, okay? It's probably one of the most meaningless things to me.
Guys, please pardon the background music in this video. You know, it is not my personal video. So I saw this video and I feel like it is a very interesting video and a very interesting topic to talk about. And I feel like a lot of people had also experienced this kind of thing. I'll let you watch a black woman talk about this, then I'll come back and we'll continue the video.
So many dating coaches are telling black women to date white men, and they're telling you how you're supposed to dress, how to tell if they're attracted to you, all these things. But let me tell you what they're not telling you. They're not telling you that you need to talk about race very early on into that dynamic, because a man can be attracted to you and want to sleep with you, and that still doesn't mean that he values black people and you are a black person. I've been seeing too many videos over the past few months of women getting divorced after marrying a white man. Quick marriage, he seemed nice, they did all the things that the dating coaches are telling them to do right, and then that man is calling them the N-word, and he's being so derogatory and racist. But when asked, did you talk about race? No, I didn't think it mattered. Of course it matters. You need to know what he's comfortable with, you need to know his biases, you need to know who's around him. Is his family racist? Are his friends racist? Are there certain jokes that he thinks he can make? Does he say the N-word? Does he get drunk and say slurs to any group? How does he feel about black men? And this one is really important, because a lot of time men are in competition with each other. It has nothing to do with the women. We are just the pawns in that game. There's a huge difference between a black woman feeling disappointed and let down by black men because you have dated many black men and you've constantly had a disappointing experience, and a white man who hates black men in this world when the power and privilege is afforded to the white men over the black men. So if you're upset with black men in this moment in time, if you're disappointed, if you've been abused by them, and you take that energy over to a white man and he also says that he doesn't like black men too, there's a red flag right there, because in society they don't have power over him the same way that you do, which means that his feelings towards them are usually rooted in racism. Also, if he's dated black women in the past, it doesn't necessarily mean he actually values and cares about black people or black women. I've spoken to white men who have dated black women, and there are the ones who will protect their black woman in front of any and everybody and make sure that she is safe and will not even have her in any environment where she'll be treated as other or less than. But I've also spoken to white men who have dated black women who don't even recognize their point of privilege and instead think that that black woman should just be grateful that he chose her. And these are the men that think that they're doing so much by just existing and choosing to be with that woman, that they don't have to defend her, that they don't have to protect her, that they don't have to care about things to do with race. They're also the ones who say that race doesn't matter, but it really does. I have also dated interracially, so I can speak from experience. There is a huge difference between dating as an adult and dating as a young person. Like when I was a teenager, when I was coming up to my early adulthood, the types of people that you meet or where you meet them is so different. You're meeting these people in social circles, you know, a friend of a friend from school, from college. This way you get to see them in their natural environment, you get to see them in a party, you get to be around them on a chill day and who they choose to surround themselves with. It's so much easier to be able to tell who is looking at you as a fetish as a young person in comparison to someone who really is embracing of you and all that you come with. As an adult, it is so different, especially when you're using things like dating apps, because these are total strangers. You can't really feel out the environment and see who they're around. It's so easy for people to create this idea of themselves that isn't really real. And then if you're coming from a space where you've only dated black men and you've never dated white men before, you want to make sure you give yourself time to kind of boost yourself up and your self-esteem before you start dating different types of men, because they are still men. So yes, you may have a completely different dating experience because it's a man from a different background, but he's still a man, so you still want to go in there with some discernment, and you also want to go in there with your autonomy intact, because if you're going into that situation thinking, oh my god, he looked at me, I've never known that white men are attracted to me, and you go there kind of like just accepting any crumbs, a man will dog walk you and you won't even realize that it's happening just because you don't recognize it, because it comes in white and not in black. I'm all for black love and I'm all for interracial relationships. Whatever makes you happy, especially as black women, whoever treats you the best, I believe you should be with them. I just believe that you need to take your discernment into every situation. I don't want to see any more black women getting bamboozled by blatant races that you would have been able to recognize if you just felt comfortable to ask those questions early on. And if you ever go and start dating someone and you feel uncomfortable to ask them questions, don't date them, because you should never be dating someone, sleeping with someone, marrying someone, having kids with someone, but like sharing bank accounts with someone that you don't feel safe with.
So guys, I feel like this is a very important topic and a very important discussion that a lot of people who want to go into interracial relationship don't want to listen to, because at the end of the day it may come off as discouraging advice, but this is so true. Let me start off with the lady video. I feel like everything she said is so very true. However, one fault I find in her video is that she targeted white men only, while a lot of times the result we see is black men who are in interracial relationship with white women having this experience, because a lot of times the women just want the man without wanting anything to do with black people or wanting to work on herself when it comes to racism against black people and also black experience. And aside that, I feel like this is a very important thing anybody who wants to date outside of their race need to put into consideration. And it does not matter whether you're a white person, Asian, or black. I feel like you can still experience this when you want to go into interracial relationship. One thing I have noticed is that a lot of people who want to go into interracial relationship just want to date outside of their race without wanting to put in effort to learn about the culture they want to go into or learn anything about the person they want to marry. And I feel like if you're marrying or dating a black person, you need to do more of hard work in learning black experience, because whether you are an Asian, a white person, our experience is so far different. I feel like black people take the more blow when it comes to racism and also discrimination as a group of people. So when you want to date a black person, it is very, very important to study and learn a lot about black culture. I have seen a lot of white men who are married to black women putting in a lot of effort to learn about black culture, black struggle. There's a video I watched where this white man that is married to a black woman was giving advice to other white men who want to go into a relationship with black women, telling them things to do and things not to do, and also saying a lot of things about black hair. Black women hair, you do not touch it unless she allow you. You don't say a lot of things about black women hair because it's so very sensitive to them. And that made me so very happy, because for him to know that there's this stigma surrounding black women hair, even when black men don't know this, is so very interesting. I feel like if you want to go into dating or dating anybody who is not from your culture, do the deep work of learning their past trauma so that you not end up hurting them, or you not end up coming up as insensitive towards them. Like the guy said, I feel like the reason why the guy who said that he dated a white person and had issue with his girlfriend is because a lot of times white people, especially white female, do not put efforts to learn anything about the culture they want to marry to. And I'm saying this with love. I don't hate white women, but I'm saying this with a lot of love for white women. I feel like white women, when they have interest in people, whether it's Asian or black men, they just have interest in that person they want to date. They never put efforts to learn anything about their culture. I have also seen this Chinese American who was married to a Colombian woman say that they got divorced because of the fact that the woman do not put in effort to learn anything about Chinese, while he left America to go and live with her in Colombia, turned into a great Christian or deep Christian because of the fact that she come from strong Christian background. Do away with a lot of things just because of the girl, but the girl never put in effort to learn anything about him or where he's coming from, or even know anything about Chinese food, or for once try to cook Chinese food. So he said after a long time of him trying to be the person that put in a lot of effort to understand her as somebody who is into interracial relationship, it get to a point it becomes so very exhausting, and he'd be like, okay, this is the end of the marriage. And also I heard that guy say that if he want to date again, he would want to date only Asian women, because he don't want to pass through what he went through with that Colombian girl, just like the other man said, right? I feel like a lot of time people just want to date somebody for the fun of it, for the fantasy. Yes, I feel like a lot of times most people who date for the fantasy of dating Asian or white or black person, they are the people who fall into this category. Because if you genuinely want to date somebody for who they are, you put in a lot of effort to learn their culture, their history, things to say and things not to say. Even if it's not dating, I'm talking like general. If you want to go into a relationship, maybe you have a black friend or you have a Chinese friend and you're not from the same race, you put in a lot of effort to learn about them so that you know what to say and not what not to say. I have had a lot of interesting experience with Chinese men, and there's this Chinese guy that I like. And one day this guy called me my nigger friend, something nigger, like he add nigger to what he called me, or that my nigger girlfriend or my nigger something. And I'll be like, no, you do not call me that. That is an insult. You don't. He say no, it's not an insult. I tried everything to explain to him, but he insists that it's not an insult. After arguing for a long time, he now apologized. Then the other guy I told you that I went out with, the thing that made me be like, okay, I don't want anything to do with this person, was him always telling me that Africans have HIV. Maybe it is what they are spreading among them Chinese people, but instead of him trying to educate himself to know the part of Africa, because you cannot say Africans have HIV. Africa is a continent. You go and do research and know the country that have HIV the more in Africa, and if you check, Nigeria is not nowhere in that list. So you cannot be telling me that Africans have HIV. And I try to correct you, be like, no, I'm not talking about you, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about African men. I'm like, okay, I'm an African woman, and if you are talking anything about African men, you're basically indirectly also insulting me. I tried everything to educate him, but at the end of the day, he do not want to learn, or he was so very adamant. I'll be like, no, I cannot take this kind of insult just because I want to date outside of our race. I'll be like, I can't take this kind of insult. And I know that a lot of people have also experienced this. There's this Chinese man that is married to a black person from Africa, a black woman from Africa. Anytime on live stream, this man will be saying a lot of dirty things about Africans, about the girl, about her skin color. And I'm like, no way. If it is me, I cannot take that kind of insult from anybody. I see this a lot in people who date outside of their race, right? Especially some people who date black people. I see them still being racist towards black people, and also being very discriminatory towards black people while dating black person. And like, how can you be dating a black woman and you're sleeping with that black woman and you're still getting irritated by black skin, but the greater part of your body is getting in contact with that black woman, but you're still like so very irritated by their skin, dark skin? Okay, what is the essence of marrying that person if you cannot stand their dark skin? So I feel like this is so very important. If you're interested in dating somebody who is not a black person, I'm speaking as a black woman because I feel like I have a lot of black women audience. If you're going to go into a relationship with somebody who is not black, please make sure you ask a lot of questions. I have also met this white guy that I honestly wanted to date, and I feel like he has money, because me, I want somebody that have money. But one thing that made me just to go back is that anytime I speak to this man, he would like to say something that annoys me. At first, he said that he asked me about shaving. I don't know if there's issue with shaving among Americans, but he always asks me, do you shave? I'd be like, why can't I shave? He said, no, not down there, not your armpit. Like, do you shave all your body? I'm like, I don't shave. I don't have hair. My skin is so smooth. I don't have hair. And there's another day we are talking, and he said something about black women hair, and he said he like it more when black women wear their braid, that he don't like seeing the natural hair of black woman. That is a big red flag, and ever since then I stopped like giving him attention, because I feel like if you have that kind of feelings towards black people or towards black women, there will be a time when I will come to see you with my natural hair and you feel irritated by that. And again, if I'm doing anything with you, on the most there will be a time you will see me in my natural form, so you'll be angry, right? So I feel like anybody who wants to date, whether you're dating a white man, Asian guy, as a black woman, pay attention, especially Asians. Honestly, I'm saying this, especially Asians. Asians are so very ignorant of black people. Pay so much attention, pay a lot of attention, because there's a lot of rumors spreading among Asian community about black people that they are the only people that know. Sometimes when you hear about this rumor, you will feel so very uncomfortable. There's one they are spreading about black women body, and I don't want to go into it, but I just feel like this video need to be said. If you want to date anybody, do your research. Honestly, from what I have seen, I feel like white men understand black women better, because of the fact that white people have been dealing with black people for so long. why Asians have not had a lot of encounter with black people. So a lot of times they excuse it with ignorance. Why is not ignorance? Because that guy I was talking about, that was telling me about HIV, was like, okay, I am ignorant of all those things you're saying, I'm sorry. But then again, he told me that he read it in a website. And the same website, if I pull in the one I read in Google about Chinese people and show you the disease I am most likely to contact from you, as a black one who is sleeping with a Chinese man, you'll get angry too. But I keep it to myself. So it is very, very important you pay attention to all these things. Pay attention to the kind of things they tell you, and also be able to ask them questions, know where they stand, and know how they feel about black people. It is very, very important you know how everybody feel about you. At the end of the day, you cannot be sleeping with a man who is disrespecting you and also looking down on you. I feel like that is the last disrespect you can give to yourself as a woman, opening your body to somebody who will not appreciate it, or somebody who will not appreciate you as a woman, or somebody who will have some kind of dirty narrative or thinking about you. So it is very, very important at the early stage of your relationship. Ask a lot of questions. Watch what he say. Watch things he do before you go into relationship. And again, if you're taking advice from me as somebody who have been making videos about interracial marriage and encouraging black women to date outside of our race, one biggest advice I will give you is to never be in a rush. Never let anybody disrespect you. Never be happy because somebody is dating you. Rather, let that person know that it is a privilege to date you as a black person. I always say this and I will stand by it. Black women have something very special to offer in a relationship that no race can offer. Stand by it. Prove me wrong anywhere, but that is pure truth. Our home training, understanding of relationship is so very far from a lot of people. We are more committed in relationship than a lot of people, which is the reason why relationship with black women lasts longer, because of how committed we are about relationship and family. So do not let anybody manipulate you or treat you less, why you know that you can offer a lot of things in that relationship. But guys, I want to know what you think in the comment section.